The mysterious invitation. It was a cold, eerie night when Ahsan received an unexpected message on his phone. It was from an unknown number, and the text read, "If you want to know the truth about your past, come to the old mansion on Blackwood Street. Tonight, alone." Ahsan hesitated. He had heard countless rumors about that abandoned house people claimed it was cursed. Yet something inside him urged him to go. Maybe it was curiosity. Maybe it was fate. Wrapping his jacket tightly around himself, he stepped out into the darkness. As he reached the house, the gate creaked open on its own. The wind whispered through the dead trees, and an eerie silence surrounded the place. With a deep breath, he stepped inside. Whispers in the dark. The moment Ahsan entered, the door behind him slammed shut. His heartbeat quickened. The air was thick with dust, and the scent of something old, something rotten. He switched on his phone's flashlight and took cautious steps forward. The furniture was covered in white sheets, and cobwebs dangled from the ceiling like ghostly fingers. Suddenly, a soft whisper brushed past his ears. "You shouldn't have come." Ahsan froze. "Who's there?" he called out, his voice shaky. Silence. Then footsteps. Slow, deliberate, coming from the upper floor. Swallowing his fear, he climbed the staircase. Each step creaked under his weight, the sound echoing through the empty halls. As he reached the top, he saw a dimly lit corridor. At the end of it was a door slightly ajar. Ahsan pushed it open and stepped inside. The room was empty except for an old mirror, but his reflection wasn't his own. The face in the mirror. The figure in the mirror stared at him with hollow, lifeless eyes. It was a distorted version of himself, but its mouth was moving. "Run before it wakes up!" Chills ran down his spine. "Before what wakes up?" Ahsan whispered. The reflection slowly raised its hand and pointed behind him. Ahsan turned around, his breath catching in his throat. A woman in a tattered white dress stood there, her face hidden by long, matted hair. Her body was twisted unnaturally, and her fingers were long and bony. The air grew colder. She took a step toward him, her bones cracking with each movement. Ahsan stumbled backward, his heart pounding against his ribs. The woman lifted her head slightly, revealing a grotesque smile wide, unnatural, filled with darkness. The escape. Adrenaline kicked in. Ahsan turned and bolted out of the room, racing down the corridor. The house trembled as if it were alive, walls cracking, lights flickering. The whispers grew louder, screaming in his ears. He reached the staircase, but as he stepped on the first stair, icy hands grabbed his ankle. He fell forward, his phone slipping from his grasp. Desperately, he kicked, freeing himself, and scrambled to his feet. He didn't dare look back. Reaching the main door, he yanked it open and ran into the night. The house loomed behind him, its windows glowing with an eerie red light. And then, silence. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Trembling, he pulled it out. A new message. "You survived for now." Ahsan's hands shook. Who sent the message? What was that thing in the house? One thing was certain: this was far from over.